Hey everyone, this is Rachel and I am here with another episode of Lift and Sketch with Christy and Rachel. We are, of course, as you saw at the beginning of the video, doing a sketch. This sketch is by Laura Rumble for Speigalmom Scraps, which I know is a store Christy is associated with, so I'm sure she's going to have a lot of fun with this particular sketch. She is doing a month of sketches, I think is crazy, but you know, more power to her. And so today I am going to be doing a 3x4 photo as is in the sketch. And it's kind of funny because on one of the Facebook groups, the Scrapbooking Facebook groups, someone had talked about how was it pointless to do scrapbooking of smaller photos and then lots of art, and I was just like, well, I think it's kind of rude to say anything is pointless, because you know, you scrapbook what you scrapbook and how you scrapbook and for whatever reason you do, and as long as you're happy with it, I think that's all that counts. And I try not to judge other people's art, so I don't, you know, whether or not you consider this an art or a craft or, you know, whatever, that's up to you. I don't really care. Just thought it was kind of funny that I'm working on this sketch directly after I read about that, like that happened yesterday, and then today I'm making the sketch. All right, I am rambling at this point. I am going to be using my Wild Hare Kit Club kit that I bought last year, October, November. I did not end up using it until I used it once for one of my layouts with Kelly O'Black when we did Dear Lizzie Stargazer last year. But after that, I did not touch it until last weekend when I went away to my scrapbooking crop, which when you guys watch it will be 2 weeks ago. And so I worked my way through a bunch of it at the crop. So I do still have quite a bit left. Now, this isn't everything that came in the kit. I mean, this didn't all come in my kit, to speak proper English. I added some stuff from my stash to it, like these freckled fawn foam words and some of the enamel things and some jelly bean soup stuff, just to kind of not super fill it out because it was quite full, but just to extend its use. Because I had purchased a couple of things from the Dear Lizzie Stargazer line, and a lot of what was in here was Dear Lizzie Stargazer, so I just put all of that in here. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I have a little bit of an idea what I'm going to do, but not totally, so this one might be a little bit of a hemming and hawing, but first I do want to do some mixed media for this layout, so I'm going to get started with that. Alright folks, I'm going to get you put on fast forward. Before I do, I just want to remind you, go on over and check out Christy's take on this sketch. I'm sure it will be amazing, and I will put a link to her channel in the description box below, so you can just click on the link and head on over. And I want to say thank you guys. There's another brouhaha with YouTube changing how they're going to be allowing people to earn money on YouTube, and so people were like, we need to make sure we're subscribing to the people we watch, and I got like a ton more subscribers, so thank you to those of you who have come on over to subscribe to my channel, and thank you guys also for you guys long-term watchers, because you know, the amount of time you spend watching YouTube helps keep my numbers up, and it's not that I've earned money doing this or that, you know, I have a goal of, oh, I have to have this many people. I only do this because I enjoy doing it, and if I don't enjoy doing it or it becomes too strenuous, I won't be doing it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not like issuing an ultimatum, if you don't watch me, I'm not doing this. You know, I do this just to talk about scrapbooking, and I don't have someone to do that in real life beyond online or like a weekend crop here and there, so I do it here, and that's why I natter on and on about, you know, stupid stuff all the time. So my whole point is I want to say thank you for those of you who have joined recently, and thank you to those who keep watching. I really, really appreciate it so much. I cannot tell you how much, you know, when someone thumbs up or a comment, and I am the worst person at commenting on the planet, so I totally understand if you don't. A lot of times I'm watching on my TV, and it is not easy to comment when you are watching YouTube on your television. Believe me. So, once again, thank you so much. And also, make sure you check out Christy's take, and I will put a link below If I don't, leave a comment saying, hey, I'm dummy, you didn't leave a link, and I will go and put one in. All right, folks, I'm going to get you on fast forward and get started with this layout. Let's go. All right, I am going to be doing this layout on white cardstock because there will be a mixed media element to it. And now I'm just kind of going through and seeing what I've got left for 6x6 pieces and what I'm going to actually use behind my photo. In the sketch, you'll see there's a bunch of papers layered up behind it with a big star shape. I am not going to be using a star shape at all, but I am going to be layering up photos behind. So I start with this Paige Evans piece, and that is from Turn the Page, I believe, and kind of looks like quilt pattern pieces. And then I'm going to grab this pink and pink geometric pattern, and of course I'm going to use my notebook border punch and do it incorrectly because apparently I don't know how to line things up, so I have to trim it off and go again. And that piece is from the Dear Lizzie Stargazer line, and I'm just layering them up wonkily so that they kind of go back and forth. And I'm going to choose another piece of paper as well. And I'm going to go with this yellow stripe. And that is also from the Dear Lizzie Stargazer collection. Now, so I am voiceovering this a couple of days before it's going to go up. So it is January 23rd. I made it over the weekend. And then I'm now voiceovering it, and it'll go up on, I think it's the 28th-ish, something like that. I don't remember exactly. Whenever Saturday is. And so the new releases have just gone out, and I'm kind of like a meh about the majority of the lines. I like it's definitely going to be a pick and choose season for me. My whole point being that I did not care for Dear Lizzie's new line. It was very little girlish, which I can understand for her. She has several little girls, and it was funny because everyone's complaining about the mercats, and I actually thought the mercats are really cute. I just have zero need for it in my personal scrapbooking. All right, anyway, that third layer is also from the Dear Lizzie Stargazer line. And here I'm showing you the mixed media colors I'm going to be using. So one is a rose gold red, and then I pick out my Jenny B blue, but I'm going to change my mind about that one because I realize I'm going to start off with the packaging technique, and by doing that, it's going to create purple with adding that blue, and I didn't want to do that. Instead, I am going to add sunset strip, and I'm going to choose a third color of yellow, and I believe it's Tuscan Sun. I do believe I froze on it when it comes time. Yes, I did freeze frame on it. So as I mentioned several times, I bought a new editing program. I now have the ability to freeze frame far easier than Movie Maker ever made it. So yay. So those are the three colors I'm going to use for the packaging technique. Now I'm just marking where my photo block is going to be, and that way I can make sure to get enough color around, because when I'm doing the packaging technique, I often end up having to go back and add more because I don't get it far enough out. Now, I am in love with this rose gold red. I don't normally like to package technique with red tones simply because it ends up looking like spattered blood. But this particular one has enough pink in it that it definitely reads as a rose as opposed to a true red. I have another red tone called Scarlet's Fever, and when I try to use that as packaging technique, it just looks like I killed someone. And I just don't need that in my scrapbooking, okay? I just don't. All right, I set that aside to dry, and now I'm going to be doing some paper backing of items. Now, these are placemats from Jilly Bean Soup, and I got them at Tuesday morning, and I added them to this kit. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to use the stars or those other, I in my brain I call them quilt pieces because that's what they look like to me, but I decide pretty quickly I am going to do the stars. I'm also going to pull out these other stars, and those are from Color Cast Designs, and those came in my kit.
as well as that wood grain clip that came from Studio Calico also came in my kit. So I'm going to I pull out all the scraps I have and I'm going to use those to back my stars. I'm going to cut away from this because it's just basically me cutting things apart and backing them. So it's super repetitive and everyone has seen everybody do this. You don't need to watch me do it horribly badly because I'm very bad at cutting things. So here it is. They have all been backed with the pattern papers. And I believe, yeah, so it's the same pattern papers I used behind my photos. And you just watched me clean up my desk because I had tons of little pieces of paper all over it. So now everything is dry, and I'm going to go ahead and glue my photo block down. Now, I've mentioned before, whenever I do mixed media, I always do a mix of ATG and liquid glue, simply because I find that in the long run, with the mixed media on the paper, the ATG glue does not want to stick. But because of the mixed media, the liquid glue takes a little bit longer to dry. So I'm going to basically put the stars in the same place as I had it on that black piece of paper. Oh, I didn't mention. I was never planning on using that piece of paper. I was just using it so I knew how much room a 12 by 12 would take up. I do decide to move that one star from the lower left-hand side over to the right-hand side. I just liked the way it looked better. And now I'm just scattering the orange stars around, and I'm basically just trying to get them where I think they'll look okay. And I decided to add that clip to the top, and I wanted to bring in another darker color simply because you'll see there's that one piece of that, I'm calling it a quilt block look pattern paper from Paige Evans. So I wanted to bring another darker element in as well. So that's what that clip does. Now I have all the stars and I'm gluing them all down, and I probably should have cut this part out because it takes quite a while to glue down acrylic pieces because you kind of have to hold them down for a few seconds after you put the glue on. So once I get these all glued down, I'm going to go and grab some more embellishments. I'm going to start with these freckled fawn enamel triangles. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scatter these around basically in the same areas that the stars are in, and then I'm going to follow those up with a flare badge just because I thought it was cute. And then a couple of other different types of embellishment. I have these puffy heart stickers. Those come from Amy Tangerine Hustle and Heart. And then also some of the Dear Lizzie Stargazer puffy stickers. And I'm just going to grab a couple of the small pieces and scatter those around as well. I had been talking about the new collections and how I didn't care for the majority of them as full collections, but I will pick and choose. And I was saying about the Mercat, people were complaining about that. And I love the Mercat. I think it is just the cutest thing ever. I just have no need for it in my personal scrapbooking, which I was kind of like, oh, it's kind of unfortunate. I think it's the cutest thing. And I'm like, stuff like that doesn't bother me. In the Chamel collection, though, the toucans, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I could use that. I don't necessarily have to have a literal use for something, but I just don't know if I have a use for that. Okay, just nattering on. All right, it is time for my title, which is Two Kinds of People. I'm using this line from American Craft Thickers called Petals, and I believe that came out with a Maggie Holmes line. I'm not sure which one, but that's what's coming to my brain. And then the rest of my title, I'm going to use a pink Ellie Studio. Now, I'm going to switch out that K for a pink K, but I'm going to cut away from this once I start, after I choose which shade of pink Ellie Studio Alphas I want, because I own them all. It's like a goal of mine. You must own all of the Ellie Studio Alphas. So my entire title is Two Kinds of People. As you can see, this is a photo of a screenshot of a text conversation between myself and my nephew. In it, I'm saying, I love you, I miss you. He was on vacation at the time, but if you don't check your emails, I am going to kill you. I wasn't actually going to kill him, obviously, although then the red packaging technique probably would have made sense. Um, so my whole point in my journaling for this is that, that saying that there are two kinds of people in the world, and my nephew and my housemate are both the kind that don't have an issue with having 74 notifications up on their phones, whereas I am in the minority in this household where it drives me insane, and I always clear out all my emails as soon as I get them, and if an app has a notification, I make sure to take care of it. So he was on vacation, as I said, and he hadn't been checking his emails. And I know people were like, why are you checking his emails? Because he's 17 and he has stuff that has to be responded by certain times, and he's not super good at that. I find it necessary to do that, and it may be hovering, and I'm okay with that. I don't do it a lot, just with responding to people, because I find that to be rude when you don't respond to people in a timely fashion. All right. Now that I've over-explained everything, I will say I'm actually almost done here. I am just going to do some spattering, and here's where I'm going to bring in that Jenny B blue, and then also Deep Blue Sea, which is another dark tealish green color, and that is going to finish up my layout. All right, folks, thank you guys so much for joining me here today. If you could head on over to Christy's channel and check out her video, that would be super awesome. Please don't forget to thumbs up if you can, and have a great day, everyone. Oh, and hey, let me know what you liked or didn't like about the new releases in the comment section. All right, folks, have a great day. Bye!